The coronavirus has swept our globe with unprecedented ferocity and stopped San Diego in its tracks. It has infiltrated every aspect of our lives, from the way we do our jobs to the way our children go to school. We worry about our parents, our grandparents, our children, our health, our essential workers, our jobs, our careers, and even our homes. But despite the worry, despite the anxiety, the loss, and the fear of the unknown, there is hope.
How many meals today?
San Diegans are rising up to the challenge. In a time of great uncertainty, one thing is certain. San Diegans are coming together to help each other in this time of need, and they are a force to be reckoned with.
America's finest city! Don't give up! We're gonna make this!
Join us as we share the remarkable stories of San Diegans on the front lines, finding solutions and ways to help. Because as a community, we're better together.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of News 8, Better Together. I'm Carla Cicchetto.
And I'm Barbara Lee Edwards. COVID-19 has hit hard. Some San Diegans have lost their lives. We've heard from many of you who've lost your jobs and your businesses.
During this half hour, we will focus on the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund, which CBS 8 is honored to be a part of, and we'll show you how to get help or how you can help out. As of now, $9.3 million has been raised to support San Diegans in need. $5.1 million of that money has been granted to nonprofits and distributed to the people who need it.
When it comes to those generous donations, nearly 2,400 people, businesses, and foundations have donated, but there is still much work to do. The San Diego Foundation created the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund to help people here through nonprofits. News 8's Kelly Hessedal begins our coverage tonight on how this fund has made a real difference in people's lives and how much more still needs to be done.
Well, this fund has helped thousands of San Diegans in need, people of all ages, from students to hospitality workers to families. But we still have a long road ahead of us.
The overwhelming vast majority of San Diegans care about one another, and they care about doing the right thing.
The San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund has touched so many lives here locally. County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says the community opened their hearts and wallets immediately to help those who've fallen on hard times during this health crisis.
And that money is going directly to our neighbors and our friends and those who are in need to try and help ease the economic anxiety around rent, utility, food.
Since the fund started last month, it's raised more than $9 million from organizations and individuals. It's distributed grants to local nonprofits like Interfaith Community Services, Meals on Wheels, and the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, helping thousands of families put meals on the table during these uncertain times.
Not being able to know if when I'm going to be able to go back to work and how I'm going to be able to provide for my family.
The fund also helped the Tri-City Hospital Foundation purchase necessary equipment to help protect healthcare workers.
All of this equipment that's being donated makes an impact.
It's provided hunger relief for seniors and vulnerable San Diegans, but there's still so many who need help.
Coronavirus really highlights a lot of inequities in our society.
Supervisor Fletcher says areas hit hardest include the south and southeastern parts of the county. Some of these communities were already struggling.
There's so many folks that have been impacted. Our small businesses certainly have been devastated. In this time of uncertainty, when we don't know when the economy will be opened back up, we also don't know when people will want to go back as customers, even if it does open back up.
How do you think this fund is going to help people in the future?
Well, I would like to see it continue to grow. As we go through this, we're going to constantly see new needs pop up.
His message to San Diegans:
just know that we can get through this. We can work our way through this.
And Supervisor Fletcher says if you're someone who was recently laid off or if you're struggling to make ends meet, he advises you to call 211 for an overview of the most immediate resources. He urges San Diegans to stay committed to this process and to look out for each other. Back to you.
Thanks, Kelly. A lot of work has been done to get money from the response fund to the people and organizations who need it most. Joining me now is Mark Stewart, the president and CEO of the San Diego Foundation. Mark, I want to welcome you and start off by asking you, how did this all get started? How was this fund created?
Thanks, Carlo. Good evening. So the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund was created to collectively mobilize the generous giving spirit of San Diego to provide comfort, relief, and hope to hundreds of thousands of our county residents, neighbors, and friends who've lost their jobs and their capacities to be able to provide for themselves and their families financially. And so the San Diego Foundation got started 45 days ago with some incredible partners that include San Diego Gas and Electric, the United Way, the Labor Councils of San Diego and Imperial Counties, AFL-CIO, and Supervisor Nathan Fletcher. And we came together to launch this effort March 16th, and the philanthropic results ever since that have been so awe-inspiring.
Mark, so how does this work? How does the help, how does the money get to individual San Diegans in need?
Yes, so Carlo, what we do is we've been, ever since we've started this effort, listening and learning from local leaders who are on the front lines of the COVID response and identifying the greatest needs for San Diego. So our efforts have focused on food security, basic living expenses, and other emerging needs, such as learning devices for low-income students, medical supplies, as well as childcare for healthcare workers and for first responders. So we make the grants to organizations that do great work, and then they carry this work forward. And so we've had 400 applications from nonprofits seeking $30 million to do great good in our county. And to date, we've had grants of $5.1 million be deployed, and we're going to have many more grants going out in the next few days and weeks.
Mark, I've got about a minute left. I wanted to ask if you have anything particular, anything else that you'd really like to share with our viewers and let them know about all this.
Yes, so Carlo, right now is the very best time to make a gift to the COVID Community Response Fund because a generous family has offered a special matching gift opportunity. The Hervey family, one of the most generous in San Diego, who have a fund at the San Diego Foundation, are offering a $1.5 million dollar-for-dollar match. So this is the time, if you haven't made a gift, to do so at our website, and every dollar you give will be matched by the Herveys, so we will hopefully be able to deploy another $3 million into our community as quickly as we can.
That is some big news to hear right now. Mark Stewart, head of the San Diego Foundation, thank you for spending some time with us, and thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Just ahead, how your donations are helping children who can't go to school get the education they need. And no school has also put a burden on families when it comes to meals. How money is helping them put lunch on the table. But before we go to break, I'll look at where you can turn to if you need help, or how you can lend a helping hand.
With classes canceled at local schools, students have had to go online to finish out the school year. But some families didn't have the resources needed for their children when it came to computers and internet access. News 8's Tim Blodgett shows us how your donations and one organization in particular have helped change that.
Have you put any games on it yet?
No. Growing up, Dora Alvarez always thought of a computer as a luxury. So when she was able to afford to buy her daughter Amarisa a new laptop,
I didn't have a computer in my home growing up. So for me to be able to provide a computer for my daughter and feel that I'm keeping her up with technology and I'm keeping her up with her education, it's a great stable feeling for me.
For a mere $100, she was able to buy Amarisa a refurbished laptop from San Diego nonprofit Computers to Kids.
Computers are no longer a luxury, they're a necessity for success. We're a technology-driven society, so when you don't have a computer at home, it really places you at a disadvantage.
CEO Cherie Pierre says that disadvantage is most noticeable now when schools are moving kids online. And with so many families in need of a computer, the organization is asking for help.
By donating their computers and donating cash to cover the cost of the refurbishing.
Today, volunteers like Ruth Cornett are refurbishing and installing important software on 20,000 donated laptops.
Fully configured, with 1 year free technical support, they would at the most get a computer for 2 or 3 times the cost.
Putting essential hardware into the hands of people who need it most, and parents who want their kids to open doors.
I feel like she's going to be able to educate herself. If mom isn't too smart in something, she can reach out using that computer now.
Tim Blodgett, News 8.
Kids can't go to school right now, and some families are facing challenges when it comes to daytime lunches. News 8's Teresa Sardina shows us how the COVID Fund is stepping in to make sure kids are eating.
Good evening. Welcome to my home. I hope everyone is doing well. It is so great to see these organizations come together during the stay-home order. Receiving these meals is making life easier.
Yes. 2 subs at PB&J, and for breakfast, would you like pancakes or cereal?
A $300,000 grant for school meal distributions, gifted through the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund. Mark Stewart, president and CEO of the San Diego Foundation, says lives have been turned upside down, and these families need nutrition.
When we came together with a number of partners to launch the COVID-19 Community Response Fund just a month ago, our single highest priority was food security.
With school not in session during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's challenging for some families to provide food. Volunteers hand out breakfast and lunch sacks Monday through Friday at various school districts. We visit the Santee Unified Meal Distribution.
Our parents have been so thankful and so grateful. Many times you can see they're humbled and they have a tear in their eye.
These staff are essential workers. They're heroes in making sure that our kids have enough to eat.
Families will receive meal distributions throughout summer.
Thanks to the San Diego Foundation, we're able to distribute funding to our school district partners who can get those federally funded available meals out to the public.
San Diegans just know that we are in this together, and we are better together when we support one another.
We are Santee School District Child Nutrition, and we are essential!
Again, the meal distribution program will be offered throughout summer. And if you would like more information, we'll have that at cbs8.com. Stay well. We're in this together. Back to you.
Food has become a major part of this crisis. Coming up next, we're going to tackle that subject head on. The San Diego Food Bank is always there to help, but now the need is bigger than ever. How your money is being put to use on the front lines. But before we go to break right now, another look at what you can do if you need help and how you can help out.
San Diego, we may be apart.
And now, more than ever, we need each other.
That is why the San Diego Foundation
is connecting us through the San Diego COVID-19 Community Response Fund.
Through food security, financial support, and emergency supplies.
Your donations will help the people
and organizations
in our community most affected by the coronavirus.
San Diego,
we may be apart,
but together
we can get better.
Please go to sdfoundation.org/COVID-19 to make a donation or to start a fund today.
The pandemic has led to the loss of jobs, income for families, and in turn that's led to a shortage of food on the table. Joining us now from the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank is President and CEO Jim Flores. Jim, thank you for joining us tonight. It is always so nice to see you and speak with you, but especially tonight I know the food bank is busier than really ever before. Is that how it seems in your experience?
It is crazy. You know, we've been doing this stuff for 40 years, local nonprofits serving San Diego County, and our service population has increased exponentially. We went from feeding 350,000 people a month to nearly 600,000 people, what seems like almost overnight.
That's a huge increase, and it's because this set in so quickly and the need rose so quickly. So talk about how something like the San Diego Foundation can bridge the gap between what you normally have and what you need to meet the demand for food insecurity right now.
Well, you know, one of the things we know is that we're only as good as the people who support us. When the San Diego Foundation approached us and said, we want to support you and we want to get a good amount of money to you right away so you can meet that growing need. And, you know, we're talking to our nonprofit partners, the lines at our distribution sites, we're doubling in size. So many more people are in need. And obviously we had to raise cash. We had to order more food. We really had to up our game to be able to keep food into that food chain. So the San Diego Foundation was a huge partner right at the right time.
And I know there have been other challenges for you too, because we are dealing with a pandemic in regards to social distancing, people needing to wear masks, hand sanitizers, gloves, that sort of thing. You rely on a lot of volunteer efforts. There's something extra special about the people who are brave enough to come forth and volunteer right now.
Absolutely. You know, we're exempt from the executive order, so all our staff, our distribution sites, our nonprofit partners, and our volunteers are all exempt from that executive order. And we had all our corporate groups canceled very quickly because they weren't doing community outreach efforts, but individuals stepped up to the plate and people came in. We're doing all the social spacing at the warehouse, sanitizing surfaces, hand sanitizer, gloves, masks, everything we need to do to ensure that our volunteers are safeguarded. But we're turning volunteers away because people want to help.
Isn't that wonderful? It's very heartening to see, and we've noticed that whenever San Diego is in a crisis. It's part of what makes, I think, the food bank so special, is that it's run with such passion. But once again, the need never goes away. I would liken it in a health sense to the blood bank. You do serve people all year, but that insecurity is always there, and now you're seeing it more than ever before. You're probably seeing a lot of new faces showing up that need help putting food on the table.
You know, before the pandemic, we estimated about 1 in 7 people, about 450,000 people were termed food insecure in San Diego County. Now that number could be 300,000-400,000 more. I mean, we may actually have about 1 million people in San Diego County that are now food insecure, and it's on us to up our game. This is what we signed up for, so we're meeting the challenge, and I would tell you that we're doing a pretty darn good job.
And I know that pressure was added a little bit today with the social distancing guidelines being put in place indefinitely, the stay-at-home orders. So you know that you're going to need to meet that challenge in this crisis for the long haul. I wish you all the best, and I just want you to let San Diegans know one more time before I let you go, Jim, why the San Diego Foundation is so important for what you're doing right now.
Well, you know, you hate to say it, but money reigns supreme, and without good funding sources, great partners who want to invest in the quality of life, the San Diego Foundation absolutely wants to be part of the solution, and they're a wonderful partner, and we'll get through this together. We'll weather the storm.
Jim Flores, President and CEO of the Jacobs & Cushman San Diego Food Bank, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Coming up next, look at how San Diegans have reached out and helped those who've needed it the most during this pandemic. Stay with us. When it comes to generosity and helping the most vulnerable who've been affected in past weeks, San Diegans have stepped up and done their part. Before we go, News 8 photojournalist Kenny McGregor shows us some small and not so small ways that you've helped your fellow San Diegans. Barbara Lee, we've seen a lot of those stories, people going above and beyond to do what they can to help their neighbors and people they don't even know in these tough times.
Mm-hmm. It was emotional just to watch that video, and a reminder of what a beautiful community we have and how wonderfully we've handled this and continue to handle it and support each other more than ever before.
Yeah, it's important to remember the point of this show. We're in this together and we are better for it.
We really want to thank all of you, thank our guests for Better Together. We want to leave you tonight with some resources on how to get help for yourself if you need it, or if you are able to, how you can help out. Thank you.